All right, gold's hard to do. We'll see here. How'd they do? Damn. It looks just like mine. The dark back is perfect. That's hard to do.
When we first sent David the prototypes, I was excited about it, but I was also pretty nervous about it because I know David and I know how particular he is. We'd obviously checked that guitar out pretty carefully, and it was close, but it wasn't exactly perfect in our eyes. My main concern, I guess, was that the little things that we felt that weren't quite at 100% yet, he would agree that we could work our way through that and create the guitar that he really wanted.
You know, it was funny because getting these first two prototypes, they sat around my house for 3 or 4 days until our Zoom meeting.
Just to prove that I didn't open them, I'm going to undo the big staples.
Oh, wow.
Just so you know that I didn't peek.
I think when I actually got the box cutters out to open the boxes up, reminded me of sitting in my apartment in 1987 with that gold top that Paul gave me. It was the same sort of excitement and anticipation, and ultimately, after that first 15 seconds or 20 seconds of playing the guitar, like I could just tell that they got it right. Maybe I am picky, I'm not sure, but it was kind of mind-boggling. The feel and playability were great, and after about 30 seconds or a minute, I wasn't sure whether I was playing the SE or the Core one that was sitting right next to me. So it was just like, it's all here.
We don't always get to see the artist's first reaction when a prototype arrives at their doorstep. It was really exciting knowing that we were going to be on Zoom with David when he opened the boxes for the first time. PRS started with an artist. Paul started this business knocking on the dressing room of Carlos Santana, trying to get guitars into his hands. And it's people like Carlos and David Grissom and Howard Leese and Neil Sean that helped give PRS its legs and get us where we are today. An artist endorsement is like a marriage in my world. It's a two-way street. We rely on the artist to wave our flag and tell the world how great our instruments are, and they need to be able to trust in those instruments night after night. A signature model is an extension of an artist endorsement, and it usually stems from an artist-specific need. The amount of time it takes usually depends on the specifications and what the actual needs are of the artist. In the case of the SE DGT, it was a little easier because we already had the core model to base everything off of. The biggest thing with the SE DGT was assuring David that we could meet the expectations that he has grown so accustomed to with his core model.
You know, when it came to the colors, the phrase "keep it simple" resonates with me, and the sunburst that we discussed was quite specific. It wasn't just like, hey, let's just do a cherry sunburst. It was like a specific, darker cherry sunburst that was not unlike the initial guitar that became the McCarty model. I'm just a little more traditional, I guess, and I think with the SE, I just kind of wanted to keep it simple and start with my favorite colors, and I just really dig the gold top. When they were both in here today, I was like, which one is which? You know, it was like so familiar, and I was so right at home with it. I just want other people to have that feeling too and know that this is a first-class guitar, and it's a lot easier to get a gold top with moons now.
In my mind, the DGT SE always was going to be two versions. One, a gold top with moon inlays, and one, a McCarty Tobacco Sunburst with bird inlays. We kind of posed the question to David, what do you want? How do you think about these guitars? And he had the same notion. So when we made David's original gold top DGT, it was different than any gold top we ever made as a company. It was a different hue. It had a whole different vibe to it. When we decided we were going to do a gold top inside of the SE series, I wanted to do it because I love it. I was concerned about doing it because it's really difficult to pull off, not only the right tone, but it's also very hard to do metallics, the scratches, just all of the defects pop. Whenever we have a color that we want to match in Indonesia, we start with our own sample blocks. We take that sample block out of our cabinet, replicate that color, cut it in half, we keep half of it goes to Indonesia, they match it, we get the guitar. If it matches, it's great. If it's different, we do it again, and we keep on doing it until we're happy with the match. When we got the prototype in, it kind of blew our mind. They nailed it on the first try.
Yeah, that is really nice. That is a great job.
When we sent David the first guitar, it was good, but it wasn't perfect. The biggest issue that guitar had was the size of the neck, not the shape of the neck. And David felt all of that as well.
I got up to around the 12th fret and I said, this neck is slightly bigger. And Jack laughed and he said, you know what? It's 2 1,000ths bigger at the 12th fret. It was pretty funny, actually, because to me it felt like a lot more than 2 thousandths, but apparently that's not very much.
This one's bigger up here even, a slightly bigger.
Let's see.
But they both, man, see how the notes ring?
2,000. So yeah, hey David, you just felt, this is wild because there's a few people here that can do that. You just felt 2,000ths of an inch difference between two necks, and you're right.
I told you. I can feel it.
And that's awesome. That's being very in tune with your deal, man. That's being very in tune with the tools that you use.
Variances in the size of a neck can come from a few places, and it starts with the CNC program cutting the neck profile. Then you have sanding, you have finish that you put on it. How much do you take off after you spray the finish on? It's a stack tolerance. So we have our list of issues that we come up with. The job is how do you eliminate those issues? So we have the team inside of PRS Guitars, and we have a smaller but just as important team that's in Indonesia. John Walker is there, boots on ground. He can work with their manufacturing teams. He can work with PT Quartz engineering teams and R&D so that we can eliminate problems almost as quickly as we can discover them.
I've worked with David for almost 20 years now, and he is very particular about what he likes and doesn't like in a guitar, for good reason. It's important to him because that is how he's going to express himself on stage. And if that guitar doesn't do the job for him, he's not going to be able to do his job.
Both of the guitars I could have taken to a gig that night, but we needed to resolve a couple of things with the setup on the nut and to ensure that the fret edges were going to be done correctly. I mean, I think at the end of the conversation, basically I said, don't change too much. And if my recollection is correct, they did the neck changes and then sort of tightened up the nut and the fret finishing. And then I think the pickups were not changed at all.
Well, I wouldn't know it was an SE. I'm kind of shocked.
Good. Shocked in a good way, I hope.
I've been doing this with Bev and Jack and Paul for a long time, so it's a genuine confidence that they're great guitars, and I don't have to worry that I'm going to have a hard time playing it or something. They're consistent.
Don't change much.
Once we have final sign-off from the artist, the next step is to prepare for product launch.
A launch is not just a day on a calendar, it's a new stage for the project. There are a few things that happen around this stage, and one of the big ones is to bring David Grissom into the factory. While he's here, David is going to shoot video, he is going to be interviewed. It's also the chance that he had to check out in person some of the first of the production samples of his guitar.
It had been a really long time since we had seen David or he had visited the factory, so we were really excited for him to come experience the guitar in person with us and be able to film the video here in Maryland.
You want me to play?
Here's a few more things that are happening during the product launch stage. We're going to take studio and lifestyle photography. We're going to build out the website and the product pages. We film demo videos and other marketing videos, just like this one. A press release has to be written. We coordinate the reviews with the media and our guitarist partners. And artist relations will send out guitars to all the people in their world. The very beginning of this project was the notion that we are interested in how things come to be. What's the process of going from a concept to a finished product? I hope you've enjoyed the series as much as we've enjoyed putting it together. I also hope that you have a chance soon to pick up one of these guitars and experience it for yourself.
To hear great music come from the hands of another player, that's the real reward at this point in my life. To at least hope that there will be people that, because of this instrument, might write a song or play a solo or practice another hour than they would have had they not had the opportunity to play it, and maybe have a small little tiny part in helping somebody move a little further down the line in a creative way. I'm very proud of the guitar, and I'm especially happy that I've been involved in every aspect of it from day one. It's not something that they made and sent to me and said, hey, could we put this out with your name on it? There's a lot of people that have put in weeks, months, years on this, but they've given me the opportunity to approve everything and to provide feedback. So to be able to work with people that care that much is a gift.
Okay, we ready?
Hey, I'm David Grissom. Today we're looking at the PRS SE DGT.